So I know Ohana. I opened up with Ohana because I know that and you're wearing it too. Talk to us about that and what it means to you guys.
Yeah, so some of my family heritage, my mom, she was born in Hawaii, and I never got to claim it as much as I'd like to. Would have wished I grew up there, but the value of Ohana has meant more and more to us, even compounded over time through what we've been through and what's important to us. So ultimately, everything we do is for this focus of being able to spend time with our family and enjoy life with our family, because most of us aren't here living to work.
Yeah.
Right. And so, we certainly embody work ethic. And the whole point of that is so that the more we do, the more we invest, the more we sacrifice now, the more we can be present and actually live out our days with the people that mean the most to us. Yeah. Yeah. And so Ohana is definitely threaded in and out of everything that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that just echoes through my body, especially with what we've been through, which we can share, is we are all going to die one day. Yeah. And my purpose in life is to be present, to be with the ones that I love, to raise my kids. Like you said, we aren't just here to work. Yes, it's important. We have to work hard. But that's also why I love what we do, because it gives us the freedom to be with our kids. I don't have to put them in daycare like I was raised and things like that.
I'm at the age now where like all of these, procedures have to be done at a certain age so that you're good, right? I actually have one coming up that I'm not looking forward to. If you have a family, don't let work consume you. Yeah. I think that I've fallen into that at times, and time is moving really fast right now in my life, and I'm more aware that I gotta slow down. I looked at like my Winston's our 9-year-old, and I remember him when he was, and all of a sudden he's like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And what's interesting is our older kids, I'm trying to remember like a lot of their growing up, and I feel I was so heads down in my 20s, 30s that I don't remember a lot of it.
Don't have memory.
It's weird.
And it's scary.
It is scary. And so I'm really, like we talk about a lot, I think it's good to build, it's good to grow, but we're going to leave with nothing. I think your family matters if you have family, and be present. Yeah. Try to be present amongst all the amazing things you're doing. Yeah. Find that. If you can find that, I think you win.
I would love to definitely get a little bit about Mariah's Miracle. Yeah. So, I mean, please share a little bit about that, because I think it's important.
Yeah, it's a really, it's a beautiful story that ended up from something, right, that's sad, but you take it and you turn it into something beautiful. Right. So Mariah was a physical therapist at Kids Place. She was super passionate about kids, and was always giving back in everything that she did. And it was really important to her. She had such a frustration with the insurance industry and how kids did not, this was even before, like how they were not getting their needs met, equipment, therapies, you name it. And that was a really big passion for her, to try to help get insurances to cover that for her patients. Mm-hmm. And she was married, became pregnant, and in her 3rd trimester found out that she had cancer, and it was an aggressive cancer. Yeah. So she ended up giving birth to Clara. That's what we call our miracle, is Clara. Mm-hmm. And she's just the sweetest, funniest, bright, just little girl that you could ever imagine. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. And then, unfortunately, Mariah lost her battle 2 months later. And that's when Terry Roberts, who was her boss with AZOPT, was like, okay, what can we do? How can we, honor her? And they knew her passion about helping kids with these equipments and things. And that's when they decided, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to raise money to help cover these costs and the gaps when insurance falls short.
Are you seeing case studies right now where it's being used with real estate? I know that I've even heard it from some of our big secondary wholesale, or wholesale lenders, United Wholesale, even Matt Ishbia talks about, an era of being able to buy used Bitcoin. I mean, Fannie and Freddie, I think,
Yeah.
are talking about. So what are you seeing?
Really, really cool stuff happening there. And we're just at the very, very beginning of that kind of innovation. So yeah, Fannie and Freddie just announced that they're going to start counting it as collateral for when you're qualifying for a loan. But beyond that, we're seeing lenders and this is, of course, small percentage of lenders, but I do think this will be more common, actually using it as collateral, to where I've seen things where a lender is saying, well, you can give you a loan, but if you will bump your loan percent, the total principal balance of the loan up by, say, 5%, and we're going to use that extra 5% to buy Bitcoin, and that's just going to be part of our security on the loan, then now the lender can actually give you a lower interest rate, to where your payment is actually equal to or less than without that Bitcoin security in there.
It's like a hedge.
And so it's a hedge. And now that Bitcoin belongs to the lender, but now when the lender projects out their returns, when you factor in that Bitcoin's making, averaging 35-40% a year, then it 10x's the returns for the lenders, and it gives them a far more secure loan with a pretty small additional risk on everybody's part. Yeah. So things like that, I think we're going to see a lot more kind of creative solutions like that of combining Bitcoin and real estate.
How do you feel about where Arizona's headed right now?
Very, very bullish on the market. I think it's an incredible housing market in April. So 3 months ago, my wife and I picked up 2 more real estate properties in that PV mall area off of Cactus and 40th.
Great. It's a great
area's
spot.
blown up. So why also depreciation? You get the cost seg studies.
Yep.
So they speed up the depreciation instead of over 27 years and 5 years and bonus depreciation. So I'm a buyer. 7% rate, 8%, 3%, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I'm a buyer because I don't trade houses like stocks. I'm not trying to time the market. As I mentioned earlier, I'm leaving everything behind.
Yep.
So in 30 years, if I have a day left or I have 50 years left on a plan, everything's gonna be free and clear. And it's all gonna be, it's my pension plan.
Exactly.
If I have 30 properties and they're all making even $2,000 a month rent, that's 60 grand a month. If they're making 10 grand a month, that's 300,000 a month.
It is such a mindset shift to get people to go from this asset is an income producer,
yes,
to this asset is just sitting on a balance sheet as an asset. No, this asset in real estate is actually an income producer that's going to kick out income, create depreciation as a write-off for my taxes, and provide and keep appreciating. It's going to kick me dividends and appreciate.
That's right.
I mean,
I love the dividends because the cash flow is a dividend,
it's
and
a dividend.
The appreciation is on a.
You get dividends,
I'm
but then when you sell your stock, when you sell your
Totally.
stock, you lose your dividend, right?
That's right.
So I mean, to me, this is like, I love it. So you guys, I know you believe in this, so it's
Oh
like,
my God, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Real estate is my profession, but people are my purpose. Right? When you really understand that, like, I think you really understand why you show up for work, every single day. And I'm so happy that Sabri, we just had a closing yesterday with a client, and they brought us gifts, and they were crying, and it was beautiful for her to like fully experience why we do this job and why it makes a difference, to really understand that they came from Serbia, came to the United States, didn't speak the language. They figured out the language. He got a good job. She actually found a job with Chase. I couldn't even get hired at Chase when I was 18 years old.
Our life is easy compared to what's
yeah. And I'm like, that's just beautiful. Like, they achieved the American dream, like coming over here, and within 5 years, they have 2 amazing jobs. They brought their kids. They have grandbabies. Now they just bought their first home. And they were just so appreciative, and she's actually my personal banker now. She started as a teller, now she's my personal banker.
Oh my God.
And it was so gratifying to see that smile and to know that those tears were like pure joy of like how far we've come. And that's really why we do it. Outside of, doing real estate. Real estate just has the opportunity to put me in front of more people that I can help. And that's part of God's mission, and that's part of God's message and God's love that's just flowing through me for so many people. And I know Sabri feels the same way. And it's one of the same reasons why we created Agent Edge, which is a course that I started for agents. I know this market is struggling.
Yeah.
I know a lot of agents are struggling, and those agents also have families. So I want to be able to teach all the agents that everything that I've learned within the last 10 years and bring it into 3 hours where they can actually just take it, run with it, and then implement it. No fluff, because going in the real estate industry, whether you're an agent or whether you're a lender, your first year is very hard.
It's tough.
And you don't know who to trust and which way to go.
Nope.
So you need direction. And I'll give you the direction. So tomorrow you can start actually taking action and start making money.
Well, I really went into this at a time where I was about to get married, which was last year in November. I got married. Thank you. And it was kind of like, okay, we could wait for the big investors to come back again at some point, make a bunch of money again at some point. It might be a year, it might be 5 years, don't know. But when you make a bunch of money with those guys, you make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Or build something that we could actually do good, you know, kind of have some type of a legacy.
Yeah.
And then plan on having kids at some point, you know, do that and have something to leave behind and kind of be more entrenched in the community.
Yep.
On the investment side, you're not entrenched in the community. You're
No,
just,
no.
you know.
What do you see coming? You know, tell me, give me your, you know, without like, no one's going to hold you to it, but well, maybe, but what do you see coming? Because I know you and I both have a really great, we're excited.
Yes.
I don't want to hold back. Like we are excited. So tell me what, but knowing that you're data driven, it might, instead of just coming off like emotion and excitement from me, give us some of your thoughts on that. I know everyone would love to hear it.
I don't want to come off as endlessly optimistic, and I also don't want to pretend that this doesn't take time. I know it's been since 2022 that we've been kind of in this market, and in 2023 I certainly was also saying this can't last forever with rates.
Yep.
So there's a realistic aspect to it. As for, us using leverage in the future and what's going to be happening for us, what's in my future is you, for sure. I'm going to be leaning on
like
you.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are creative avenues out there, whether that be private money, whether that be hard money lending, whether that be DSCR, non-conventional loans, non-QM. For us, it all comes back to what is my passion, and that is the acquisition. And the acquisition, I always say, can be a win-win for both scenarios. That is not a ruthless situation, but in every market, there's going to be opportunity. And right now, if you look nationwide, if you look at Phoenix, I think Q3, Q4 of this year are going to be very exciting for someone who's looking to invest in Phoenix. There's just no question about it. You're already seeing that start to happen.
What makes it successful? What makes a successful short-term rental? Because I think you have mastered it.
We've talked a lot about that. You're
yeah.
like, why or how?
It's
Or
an itch.
I think it's look, like, it's not new anymore. Remember the Super Bowl that came here? Everyone in Old Town Scottsdale wanted to turn their home into an STR. That wasn't successful. You may rent it out for a couple of weeks, but you're not building something that people. It's not a long-term thing.
Yeah.
So where my mind goes is if regardless of the STR, if you're building a widget, if you're building a podcast, if you're building a business, and you want to be the best, you have to go in with understanding what your differentiators are and how you can be, recession proof, or how you can continue to find ways to generate revenue when other people aren't.
Yep.
And I think of the STRs, and every home we've bought has a really good story to tell, whether it's the location and proximity to the main square, or it's on 5 acres and 8 minutes from downtown, Flagstaff, or Sedona home is Creekside. It's a half a mile from Tlaquepaque. It's got the best views that I've seen on an Airbnb.
Right.
So we if we're going to get in that space, we're going to build something, and it requires more capital. It's a nicer home. It's a higher end home. So we try to find higher end properties that still have, some bang for our buck. So every home we buy, we're remodeling, right? The Sedona home, the Flagstaff home, the Cottonwood home was a big remodel, as you know. So we try to find location that we know we can tell a good story with, that, when Stacy's at home and she's talking to her husband about going to Flagstaff for the weekend and she sees our home, like that's the home she's going to want to book.
How important do you think a lending partner is in this business?
I went through, it was really funny because, of course, Jen was actually some of my first loans she helped me with. And then there was other buyers I had that, of course, chose their own lender. And then I didn't realize how good I had it at the beginning with Jen, because when she calls, she helps negotiate like that. I've been in multiple offer scenarios, and she helped because she was the only lender that reached out or answered her phone on a weekend.
Isn't that
And that
crazy?
helped us win deals. And that's something I don't think people realize. They just are so worried about like who's going to give me the lowest rate, and it's like who's going to help you also negotiate the best deal, because that might save you more money in that too. But yeah, like
We're partners. We're partners, right? I mean, it's like I try to stress that a lot of times. Somebody's just rate shopping. I'm like, you need a partner with your agent. This is going to be a very involved thing, with lots of moving parts. And so,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Yeah,
That's
she's been a great mentor too.
Yeah.
She's been awesome. So
we run a great business and we want to be fair about our pricing and the way that we do what we do, but we are not just a margin or just a ROI build. Well, your production builder is.
Yeah.
So in one sense, something that a production builder can offer a client in the form of an incentive, we cannot offer, but that's because their margin is maximized already. They're giving them the minimal amount of home value and product for the maximum amount of money.
Yep.
The reason they can provide something that I can't is because we're not. I'm
Well,
giving
they're buying in huge quantity too, because they're building.
Yeah, so there's a volume discount that they get also that we don't, but we're providing them the absolute most value that we can with the least amount of return for us as a builder, right? I mean, we have to run a business, so we need to get paid for what we do, but it's a different mindset for sure.
I think another part of it is don't be afraid to, and again, I think my upbringing pushed me to do this, but like, don't be afraid to expand your connections. I mean, I call you all the time. I bug you. I text you. I'm like, what do you think of this listing? What do you think of this payment? Is there hard money on that? I ask questions constantly. And I think even 5 years ago, I was a little more shy. Certainly not shy after running for office, but you can't be. But just, getting a good CPA, building a team, and not being afraid to call those people up regularly. And people want to give advice. That's the other thing. Like, people enjoy it. And so getting a contractor, learning about that, working with a municipality, like once you learn those things, they're less intimidating. So just kind of try it, reach out to the person, or, call your mortgage lender 5 times in a week about a property.
Every 5 times in a day.
Yeah.
You've really, you and I've talked a lot about wealth building. We talk about how powerful this can be, not only for women affected by something where they're coming out of, but to rebuild, right?
Yep.
But that the home itself is, the home is so important.
It's so important.
Reestablishing yourself, especially as a woman, right?
Yes.
Women have a nesting sense,
Yes.
right, about them more so than anybody. And I feel like it's just such a natural, what you went through is almost like, this is like the perfect, I don't want to say storm, because, but
it is. But it is kind of like the perfect storm. Everything, it's interesting because everything that I have gone through in my life has led me to this moment. And it's, for me, I'm so excited to start. So I'm not only helping women who have fled domestic violence, which a lot of them have lived in my casita. I just bring them into my home and assist. That's just who I am. But I'm also helping women starting again, starting over, whether it's a death of a spouse, divorce, domestic violence, whatever, a tragedy of some sort, because so many women of even my age are starting over and don't know what that looks like and where to begin.
If you were going to give any advice to anybody right now, trying to build out their wealth. I mean, I know you have a huge range of clients, but what would some of the advice be right now in this market, in this space? Like, what's your advice?
I mean, there is ways to find equity in homes. There are smart things you can do in homes. I think right now, like, there's a lot of people like Buffett and all these guys that talk about when everybody is selling, buy, and this and that, where it's like right now, like, nobody's buying. So to me, I'm still looking to buy. I'm still trying to find stuff. And now I know some of these things aren't going to cash flow. Maybe I'll be lucky to break even. But when the rates come down, the values go up, I could do a cash out refi. It's like, and that's where it's like, sometimes it's not pretty while you're kind of making it work. And then
there are deals out there.
There are deals out there.
If you don't think it's possible, then it's not possible.
Right.
You have to first at least believe it's possible. And then I'm big on, I don't need to recreate the wheel. Like, I was asking you about some of the things I'm interested in. I'm like, hey, can you teach me that? Like, I have this other thing that you're kind of interested in. I'm like, hey, let's exchange knowledge. That's when Napoleon Hill says a mastermind is one of the greatest powers in the world.
100%. And I mean, sharing ideas, that's one of the whole reasons for creating this podcast was really is to be able to sit down with people that have done things I have never done or I haven't been exposed to, and hear their story and learn from it. Right. I mean, and help others with it. That's the whole idea. So I love it. Love that. You might as well learn it from somebody else and look at people that are successful, put yourself in around people that are successful. I mean, that's, you are the product of the 5 people that you're, with the most and closest to, that kind of thing. But I think that's so great. And it's inspiring for the next generation, right? If they see you doing it, they can do it.
Right.
I think it's really, I think that definitely is real.
Yeah. And just, having that determination and that grit will get you there. You just have to keep your eye on the goal and, set your strategies, set your goals and work, put action behind that.
Get educated, find that coach, save yourself the time, invest in that person. Because by the way, that person might be a real estate agent that just is very experienced like you, or a lender like me that cares about this in a bigger way, like somebody in our Radiant Financial or in W Partners. I mean, to me, that's get that person to ask the questions, because get educated on it, I think, first.
And at the most simple level, ask them if they own real estate.
Yeah.
If they're helping you buy and sell, they should also own it.
Well,
are they practicing what they preach?
Yeah.
Do they understand it from a consumer standpoint?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we preach in our firm is you gotta buy real estate. You can't sell a product you're not willing to invest in yourself.
So we were talking about this seminar that I went to and being in the, I guess what I'm getting at is you have to really be in the right rooms. I was in the right room when I met you.
Yeah.
It was the perfect situation and just time in my life. I was not in the right room when I was 22 learning about buying mobile home parks.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but you're a seeker. You were seeking to be in the right room, and I think that is.
Yeah, I think that's the next step from the reading and the podcast and trying to take in all the information is if you could do that forever and ever and ever and never take any action. I think the closer you're going to get to taking action is meeting the right people, meeting people who are doing it, and I think that's just a big step into wealth building.
Yeah.
If you don't know where to start.
Yeah, I mean, I think the motivation, right? Where you came from and what you're talking about here, just what gives you the drive to want to learn it. And I mean, you just were, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be living off credit cards. I don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. I want to build something that you can control, you can grow, you can, create a legacy with.
For my kids. I just didn't want my kids to live like that.
I still think the market's strong. It's ebbs and flows, but who knows what happens after the election. But I mean, once again, not to talk too much about my dad, but he talks a lot about in the 80s when the interest rates were 16, 17% and different time. But it feels like rates are just going to ebb and flow, and you can buy a property today as long as you can make your mortgage, and there's going to be an opportunity to refinance. And I've been spoiled in my career. I got into it when my first interest rate was 3.25%, which I still hold today. But we have properties as high as 6.75 right now, I think is our highest one. So it's just continue to buy, continue to get in, and you have to just start. Everyone go ahead.
And it does start to load balance right after a while. You got some where you're not cash flowing quite enough, and so we build a whole spreadsheet, right? And you look at your cash flows across the board, not just in one bucket.
Yeah. We let the other ones kind of, if they need to piggyback off them, to go back on those 15-year mortgages that I did at the time with you, I was negative a couple $100 a month on those two properties. But my other property that was positive was able to offset those. So I wasn't dipping out of my personal savings or anything like that to do it. So I still am very bullish on the real estate market. I would tell anyone, as long as you continue to buy and don't over leverage, then you're fine. But just live within your means is the biggest thing I learned from you and Jay, and I think that's done me extremely well.